Hey everybody, we are here for the eclipse and Georgia and I are going to let people in. So I'm admitting all of them now, okay?
Oh,
Here they
fantastic.
go.
Okay.
Welcome, welcome, welcome everybody
Welcome, everyone.
as you're coming in. And just to say on a technicality, if all of you would mute, if you wouldn't mind muting, I can mute you as well if you can't find the button. I've just done Janice. Hello, Janice. It's so nice to see you. So nice to see some of my friends, and Georgia, you will know your own friends. Just
Yes.
super excited to be here in this moment. I'm going to just make sure I've
So
let
many
everybody in.
familiar names. Hi, Susie and Jeff. Akash, hi. And Tiffany too, I can see. I'm still scrolling through the names. Oh,
And
it's so
Joe
yeah.
Gillard and Johannika, lovely to see you. Ulrich, of
Yes.
course.
Hi.
Diana. Um, so I'll just say a couple of things. We are gathered here, all of us. We're already in the eclipse energy, the solar eclipse today. And we're also in the new moon energy as well. We've got three parts that we want to cover today. My name is Inarra Aryane Griffyn, if you haven't met me, and my co-host and collaborator is Georgia. She may want to say a little bit about who she is. Do you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, sure. My name's Georgia. Yes, for those who I haven't met. I'm an evolutionary astrologer of about 7 years now, a student for longer than that. And in fact, Inara and I have a special connection. She was the reason that I found astrology, the original connection, just very synchronistically. So yeah, and I really, I mean, as an astrologer, absolutely draw on the floor about this moment in time, and I'm so looking forward to sharing with you what I feel is the significance of this astrological moment, both for us personally, but also collectively as well. So yeah, and thank you so much for being here with us.
Yeah, and for those of you who don't know me, I have always been interested in astrology, but I'm a spiritual life, love, and business coach. I've spent 30 years studying both the indigenous Western traditions, witchy traditions, ancient magical traditions of Britain and Ireland. And then I've also done 30 years studying it in the yoga context. So my background has been studying spiritual systems, really, holding ceremonies. And I also am a business coach. So I have this way of looking at timing and cycles and what's the right time to launch something, what's time to say pause, back off, and all of this. And so at the beginning of the year, when I listened to the astrology of this year, I circled this day. I was like, wow, this is one to remember. And I think Georgia had a similar experience that, and when we've ended up speaking about it, we're like, we should do something because it is that epic, and she'll explain why it is. And just to say how the how the day will go or how the hour will go, I'm going to hand it over to Georgia to tell you all about the astrology any second. Then we'll have a little bit of a conversation about why Chiron and the Wounded Healer has brought us to wanting to support Gaza and this family and Samar, who may make an appearance from Gaza today, if that happens, if the eclipse willing. And then I will end it by doing an activation where I take you through a journey where we really work on your own wounds, because this is a Chiron activation where we want to look at not just collective wounds, but we want to make it, what is it that you have actually experienced in your own life? Look at threads and meanings of wounds. I'm going to do some clearing of that and then help you transmute that into leadership. So whatever you will have experienced as a wound will also be your greatest potential in leadership or as a healer. So over to you,
Thank you,
dear
Inara.
Georgia.
Thank you so much. Wow, yes. What a moment this is. I feel so I feel really honored and grateful that I can consecrate, if that's the right word, really align with this the potency of this moment in this way. And so once again, I just want to say thank you to Inarra for the invitation and the idea to do this together. Um, I think the first thing that I would love to do, true to Aries, which is all about presence, the now, right here, right now. Um, I really wanted us to drop into the energy of Aries. So I know that some of you might be connected with your own charts, with astrology in general, or perhaps astrology is brand new to you. So let's just at least to just tune into this Aries energy, because yes, this total solar eclipse happening today is in Aries, and it aligns with a very significant asteroid called Chiron, which some of you may be familiar with, some not. Chiron is such a significant asteroid that he almost has planetary status, essentially, and we'll be talking about him a lot today to really, really tune into him and understand him as best as we can. He's truly profound, but we'll tune into him and his energy. I mean, we're all going to be confronted with him, whether we're ready or not, um, in these days. But yes, this is all happening in Aries. We're in Aries season. The North Node of the moon is in Aries right now and has been for about a year. So we are, with the North Node in Aries, there is this is our curriculum right now. Aries is where at the evolution of our souls individually and also collectively, the evolution of humanity, the evolution of the earth herself is directed towards Aries. That is where we're being pushed out of our comfort zone, where we've got to learn and grow on a soul level. So I'm going to read a few keywords right now to see, how are these themes currently showing up in your life, these Aries themes. The themes of instinct, right? The primal. Aries very much has that caveman energy, the primal instinctive nature of being human. Identity, expression of will, free will, right? Freedom itself, freedom, agency, self-interest, someone's entering, initiative, and this can also be about anger and rage, initiation, impatience, spontaneity, right? There's a lot of speed and motive and energy with Aries. It's the first sign of the zodiac. It is where we begin. I mean, interestingly, many astrologers would say that truly secretly the first sign of the zodiac is Pisces, which comes before Aries, and that's the 12th sign of the zodiac, right? And perhaps it's important, I think, and interesting actually for us to begin there, because our true beginning as souls, our true home, let's say, actually, is the 12th house. It is the 12th house, Pisces, is the oneness of all that is. It is where we are all connected. It is the truth with a capital T of our being. It's our spiritual home. It is the great ocean where we all come from and to which we will all return. And of course, from that infinite, creatively infinite, abundant void potential that is the 12th house, the womb of the universe itself, comes Aries, that spark of life. It is where we are born. When we come out of the womb of our mothers and that cord is cut, that's that separation, that cut of separation that is Aries. We are now individuals. We begin our lives separated from source, right? Now, of course, with that comes all the primal, incredible, energetic, willful, desiring, heroic energy of Aries, right? We're here, we're on a mission, we're here to live and in the fullest spectrum of what that means, and the battle and the fight that it can be, and that is Aries, the fight to survive, to live. But of course, that wound of separation is deep. We've been separated from our own mothers, first and foremost, and from the womb of the universe itself, from our oneness. And this with Chiron, the asteroid Chiron, the significance of Chiron is the wounded healer. That's the archetype that he's most associated with. So yes, we're in Aries territory. Yes, it's heroic, it's brave, it's about the new, it's initiatory, and my oh my, are we in that energy right now? I mean, you're probably all feeling it, and certainly today and from today onwards, that energy is going to be palpable for all of us. This is a new moon, right? This is a new moon. Not just it's a solar eclipse and a total solar eclipse, but first and foremost, it's a new moon. It's the beginning of a new lunar cycle, and always there's a burst of energy in this moment, right? In fact, the phase of the new moon, where the sun and the moon come together once a month or a month, that corresponds to Aries energy itself. It's that spark of life, the seed, the beginning. And we're in that right now, so very potently, right? So not only is this a new moon, but it's a new moon in Aries. And then on top of that, it's an eclipse, because this moon sun alignment is happening along the ecliptic in alignment with the nodes of the moon. And this is what makes an eclipse possible. So the sun, the moon, and the earth are all lining up on the ecliptic, and hence the term eclipse. And so this is not just the beginning of a new lunar cycle. This is really as well, because it's an Aries new moon. This is really the beginnings too of this new astrological year that we've just come into, right? This is Aries season. We've got 12 more seasons to go through. But this is also the beginning as well, because it's an eclipse. This is really going to define the energy for the next 6 months in a really profound way. And Aries is a sign of action. I think we're really what's going to unfold in the next 6 months relative to what we're all experiencing and being initiated into right now. These aren't subtle energies. These are going to be obvious, overt, on the surface. Things are going to happen significantly, and I think quite quickly. On the surface, a lot is going to be brought to the surface. This is going to be significant events that I think is really going to be absolutely life-changing and defining for all of us. The human story is shifting from here, because not only this, but it's also a new 19-year synodic cycle. Eclipses are so significant. They're moments where, because of this Earth, Sun, Moon alignment, the auric field, AURIC, the auric field of the Earth is disrupted. And this allows for new energy to come in necessarily, and for energy to leave. And this is why we literally go through this portal where breakdowns and breakthroughs are experienced, right? Rapid endings and beginnings. A lot of people call this like a timeline jump. Certain timelines are collapsed and we jump into new timelines. And that is the magic of an eclipse. There's magic that can be had here. How do we want to move forward? And my gosh, with Aries, this is about action, decision, moving forward. We have such potent possibility here to make different decisions and move forward on an entirely new trajectory, and through our actions, right? Aries is about action. So now, as exciting as that sounds, and it is exciting, right? This is new, this is action oriented, this is momentum, this is energy, this is will, this is drive. Aries is the warrior, right? And if we've been feeling, oh my goddess, right? We've just had winter for 3 months and we've had some gnarly transits during that winter. Winter is that frost, that very yin energy. We're coming down and in, and we can feel, we've just had Pisces season. This is where we feel more unraveled. We feel more confused, stuck. We don't know which way we're going, and we're a very action-oriented society, right? So we're not very comfortable being in inaction or in the pause. But now we have that action-oriented energy coming through, and I think a lot is going to become clearer for us about how we want to move forward. Again, though, however, this particular eclipse is aligned to a fraction of a degree with Chiron, the asteroid Chiron. And Chiron is the wounded healer, like I shared, is mostly associated with that archetype. When we look at Chiron in our own charts, we are connecting with the deepest wounds that we carry, that likely go back for many, many lifetimes. And so what we're dealing with right now is that we are being initiated into a new pathway. into whole new ways of being, whole new clarity about what we want and where we're going. But the initiation to that is through a deep chironic vulnerability and really pain, triggering. Chiron is requiring us right now to connect with our wounds. And this is the thing about Chiron. Chiron transits are not Chiron transits are not comfortable. We all go through them. The most potent one that we all go through actually is when we turn 50 years old, which is when Chiron returns to exactly where he was when we were born. And we all feel this palpably. It is truly profound. It is, and I want us to remember actually this Chiron return piece, because I'm going to be returning to that in a moment. But yeah, Chiron is very deeply uncomfortable. But because this is the thing, because he is the wounded healer, it is where we, as well as carrying our wounds, this is where we carry our greatest gifts, our greatest medicine, right? And as a humanity right now, this is significant for all of us. As a humanity right now, in order for us to move forward, we have to unravel and connect with that which is holding us back on the deepest level. And what we do know is that as the human experience itself, and this is true to Chiron and Chiron's mythology, is that none of us are immune to wounding and to pain. It is quite literally what makes us human. And all of us will experience that wounding in our life. It just depends on what type of wounding you experience or what really hits or triggers you more profoundly. And with that said, you know, it is very important, by the way, I just want to note this actually as something you can do later, is if you have the capacity to do this, is to, or, you know, the opportunity is to connect with where Chiron is in your own chart, right? What is that particular wounding that you carry? What particularly hits you right in the heart, right in that gut? It feels like a gut punch when it comes to Chiron. And something that I think, because of how collectively significant this solar eclipse is right now relative to Chiron, it is requiring that we all stare right in the face with utter Aries honesty of the fact that we truly are a traumatized species, right? Like, it's not a question of are you traumatized or are you not? Whether that's little t trauma or big T trauma, it's more of a question of what is the flavor, the type of trauma that you're carrying, right? And this is a hard conversation for us to have, but this is why we need the activation. We are requiring the activation of the wounded healer archetype in our times, because we need the healers to step forward. This is when you're needed now more than ever, because humanity is awakening. For Aries is very awakening energy. Humanity is awakening to what we're carrying, right? Aries is also the physical body, the pain, the chronic pain, the exhaustion of the abuse that we have given ourselves and each other over thousands of years of violence and systemic violence, right? Aries is violence. We're waking up to that and we're going, oh my God, we have to heal. This pain is unbearable. We have to heal this. And of course, that healing requires us to do that together, right? So, the way that we get to the healing, the healer, for us to be activated with our healing potential to apply medicine to ourselves and others, is through pain, is through our wounds. So Chiron, this asteroid Chiron, the centaur asteroid, the centaur planet, as is often called, this mythology of this centaur who was hit in his heel by a poison arrow, but because he was a god, he was fated to suffer this pain of this mortal wound. And he spent his life, he just traveled the world looking everywhere he could for ways that he could apply some kind of relief, right? What medicine, what healing modality, what tool, what teaching can I find that can help relieve me of this pain, right? And as a result, he became this master teacher of so many different healing modalities, from astrology to herbalism to acupuncture to everything you can imagine. And not only was he a healer, he was really a master, he was a teacher, right? He was this teacher. And the term wounded healer was actually really coined by Carl Jung, famous psychotherapist, also really prolific astrologer, connected with astrology so very much. And he, psychoanalyst really, he actually he called it the wounded healer because he found this profound thing that those that were therapists, those that were, you know, partaking in healing, helping others through their healing processes, it was the ones that had this utter unstoppable care for their patients. They were those that had gone through devastating wounding, utter pain. And this is the gift, this is the medicine that comes through when we connect with that which has brought us the most pain, the most unraveling, that most vulnerability. We think this is that's our end. We think that's our undoing. We think that that's our downfall. It's actually our gift. And this is what can happen right now is if in this moment as well, we're going to drop into this healing piece in a moment of how very much right now we are being initiated into this healing archetype more than ever before. All of us have the capacity to heal. And in fact, let's go there because I think, like I shared, what is the particular healing medicine about Chiron, right? When we return to Pisces, right? When we remember that that's where the wound began, was when we were separated from source. So the core wound there with Chiron, no matter what your wounding is, no matter what your trauma is, so much of it, it really stems back to that wound of separation where we have forgotten that we are all one being, that we are all connected by something rooted in love, by something that is so much bigger than ourselves, but that is ourselves, right? And that the answer is and always has been there within. And when I say within, I point here, the human heart, the human heart. This is where the Chiron medicine that comes through in times like this, right? The pain that we experience when we look at the world right now, especially with Chiron in Aries. Aries manifests as violence, yes, war, right? We are staring in the face the wounds of war that have spanned back thousands of years with genocide and ecocide, war against the earth herself, right? And what was I just saying? The wounds of separation, yes. So what was I just saying, Inarra? Can you help me out? I had a little bit of a mind block there. Do you remember? I was talking about the
Well, you're talking about the ultimate
what was
wound
it?
is of separation, and that
Yeah.
Chiron is bringing us into this space where we're actually both present on the planet to the history of war, really, the history of separation, thinking there's those against and those with, all of that kind of old order thinking. But
Mhm,
the biggest breakthrough is going to be you moving towards your wound rather than
mhm,
moving away from it. We're used to going, oh, I don't want to deal with that. It's so ugly. It's so uncomfortable. You know, oh, they're over there. They can deal with it. But the difference right now is if you can move towards your wound, to actually acknowledge them, to even think about them a little bit, this is going to be the big breakthrough.
absolutely. That is exactly where I was. Thank you so much. So it's that heart piece, right? This is why we use the term the heartbreak, the heart breaking open. One of my favorite quotes is by, I believe, Khalil Gibran, a Lebanese poet, that said, "Pain is the shell of your knowledge cracking," right? It's that cracking open, and it really does ultimately, that shell, we expand, the heart expands from that place, right? But what we've previously known, that shell, that, you know, that keeps us safe as well, right? That pain, there's a cracking open. It's the heart breaking open, but it is breaking open. And the thing about that is that I mean, that is where we connect, all of us human beings. We all have a beating, bleeding human heart. And it is right now, when we're witnessing what we're witnessing across the world, again, violence on every level, it is breaking open our hearts, and it is so utterly painful, but it is also simultaneously connecting us to what does connect us all as human beings, which is the heart, which is the heart space, which connects us right back to not our separation, but our oneness, right? This is compassion. The medicine of Chiron is compassion. And compassion, which is this term that we throw around, and what is compassion? Compassion is the deeply held belief that we are all connected by something deeply rooted in love. It's the heart space, right? It's the heart, it's the heart, it's the heart. But the heart, we romanticize the heart. We think the heart is a beautiful place to be. To really drop into the heart space is vulnerable, because this is such a key teaching right now when it comes to Chiron, when it comes to this initiation that we're going through, this initiation through our wounds, this initiation of the broken open heart that is ultimately leading us to this capacity to heal ourselves and others, is that the heart chakra is right in the center of the chakra system, right? It's in the center. That means that, you have the three upper chakras. This is particularly in the like ancient Indian traditional understanding of the chakras and those energy centers of our bodies. But there's those three upper chakras, there's the three lower chakras, that the center is the heart. So very much when it comes to healing, when it comes to navigating this human experience, often we can be very, very upper chakra. We can be in the head and in the logic and in the cerebral, and even in that divine spiritual connection. We're just shooting up, we're transcending, and it can be very escapist, and it can be too cerebral and very, very ungrounded. To really ground ourselves, to really come into the heart space, we can only do that by really coming into and connecting with the lower chakras. And that is where we really drop into the feminine. That's when we really drop into the darker spaces, the more pre-verbal, primal, wordless, unraveling spaces, right? That's where things get really uncomfortable. We don't want to be there as a humanity, right? In the head and in the cerebral and in the upper, it's more light, it's more masculine, actually. It's more, it's got this kind of it's very airy as well. So there can be more meaning making and sense making there. There can be. But when we drop down into the heart and in those lower chakras, a lot can unravel. But my goddess, that's where the potency is. And truly, there can be no true integration, true healing, true heart-led work, true heart-led work, true heart-led leadership, if we are not working on that lower, deeper, darker, more feminine level. And this is why the old paradigm of healing and spirituality right now is very much talk about endings of old cycles. It is being evaporated and eviscerated right now through fire, right? And Inarra and I were talking about this the other day. There's this whole culture, especially in like white Western spirituality, of love and light, love and light, love and light, love and light. And absolutely, that love and light and the healing of that is a part of the conversation. But when we drop down into the feminine, the primal feminine, the mother, the great mother, and our voice drops. I think of when I gave birth to Leo, my baby Leo. I screamed. I mean, things came out of my voice. I don't even know where that, but what I will tell you is that the next day, despite the loud noises that came out of my voice for like 20 hours, my throat box was fine. I could talk completely normally, because that's not where the sound came from. It came from so deep down. It was primal, it was ancestral even, right? These aren't comfortable spaces, but that's where the great mother lives. And my goddess, we've been disconnected from her. And this calling of Chiron, this breaking open, is calling us home to the mother within us, or the great lap of the great mother, the Mother Earth herself. And Mother Earth isn't all light and love and light. Are you kidding me? She spews volcanoes and lava. And, it's the full spectrum of what it is to be a human being. And we're not comfortable going there and being there. But that is where we're fully accepted. We're fully loved unconditionally, with all our shadows, all our pain, all our wounds. That's where the healing is. And we've got to begin with that for ourselves, that true, deep, unconditional compassion. And we have that opportunity in these days. We really do. So just do not be afraid. Try. But this is where we also do need each other, right? If you can find those safe spaces, like counseling spaces, group work, whatever it might be, even through our relationships, find those healing safe spaces to truly feel through, because that's the only way to healing. Um, but that heart-led, heartbreaking open work is initiating us on a whole new path. It's a path of warriorship. I think we're getting fired up right now about where the violence is, about the children and the earth crying and dying in front of our eyes. And all of us, truly every single one of us, even if you're not living in a war zone, we're all subject to this systemic violence of hyper individualism, being severed from the community, being severed from love and connection, and we're not standing for it anymore. And so this is a time where we're really stepping forward on a new journey, and the particular medicine that you are meant to bring forth on this journey is going to become clearer to you now in this coming time. Um, so allow yourself to be initiated. It is going to be an unraveling. It is going to be highly vulnerable, I feel, but this is the hero's journey, the heroine's journey of our life, and what we came here to do. That's actually definitely something that I want to close with, at least. I think I'm coming up to my time. Is that right, Inara? Am I? Yeah. So I just want to close with this piece, is that when it comes to Chiron, this unprecedented activation of Chiron in this moment, again, this solar eclipse is conjunct to Chiron down to not just a degree, but a fraction of a degree, right? At the solar arc minute, not just the degree, but the minute. That's why, as an astrologer, my jaw was on the floor. I don't think that we will receive a, an activation of Chiron like this collectively in our lifetimes. The story of Chiron is still one that is being written. Chiron was only discovered as an asteroid in the Kuiper Belt. He was only discovered in 1977. We haven't even had our full first Chiron return as a humanity yet. Books are still being written. As astrologers, we're still figuring him out. But his glyph is shaped like a key. If you look at his glyph, it's shaped like a key. In so many ways, he is the key to ourselves, our own chart, but also the key to humanity. Chiron, this asteroid of healing, we have all been born in these times on this planet right now when Chiron was just discovered, because we are in a time of healing. Healing defines our times. We have to heal ourselves socially and ecologically beyond imagination. But what an incredible, I mean, wow, like we were born at these times. Our souls chose these times to be alive. So it really is our task, if we choose to accept it and engage with it, to connect with that chironic energy and to step into the true potentials, the true gifts of why and what we came here to be. So yes, I wish you all well, and from my heart to yours, I wish you so well on this this incredible initiatory moment. And to have so much, really encase yourself in a balm of compassion and love for yourself and others in this moment, because it is a potent one. So yeah, thank you so much for listening, and yeah, love from my heart to yours.
So I think sometimes it really helps to give examples, concrete examples. And I was working with myself because I can't lead anything unless I can actually do the work myself. So I was going into a journey. I put up a little social media post about one of the wounds that I've had in life that was bullying as a thread that's gone throughout my whole life, really from when I was very young. And you could, in a way, say, well, why is this being, me, attracting different levels of bullying at different times? There were some practicalities that I moved countries. So I was always an outsider. I would always land into a new community as a new person. So there was this sort of logical, practical. But when I really look at it, where I am now, as somebody who's lived a pretty long life, and I know the work that I do is with leadership, then I needed to start to experience myself as a powerful leader. And one of the areas that I would say stands up above and beyond anything is I go for justice. Oop, there goes my light. I'm quite an activist. I'm known for being an activist. And the roots of it are that when I think about those moments of bullying, it was very unpleasant and some of it was extreme, but I started to learn the language of bullies. I started to see what a bully is, which is a coward. I started to notice that if you stood up to a bully, that they would start to disintegrate quite quickly. All the things that you can experience in that journey, I would never have experienced unless I had the experience myself of starting to really know what it's like and the impact. And as an adult, even, I created a yoga festival at one point, and a disgruntled employee brought this into social media level. Even though he'd been paid for his work, he didn't do one thing, which was to create a website, but he had the contract for it. And he used this all over social media to do a hate campaign. And I know a lot of leaders, when they step out into their realm of being a leader, it's like, hey, wow, I just want to teach this thing that I want to teach. Nowhere in the guidebook of being a leader does it tell you, hey, everybody's going to get haters or everybody's going to have full on at some point attack. And because of my experience of all these different layers of bullying, my God, I am fearless now. It's like I am up to such a level of personal expression in that, that if you want to bring me in and deal with bullies, I'm your girl. It's like, bring it on. So
Yeah.
when I now use that, when I look at the world, and we've decided that we were going to aim donations at Gaza right now. It's not really even about the politics. I could spend hours on politics, but I'm not a particularly political being. What I am is I'm interested in certain issues. So I'm a sort of issue-based person. And I can read the language of bullying right now with the Israeli army, the Israeli military. And it doesn't matter if, I could go into the whole political realm, which I'm not. I'm just going into where's this energy coming from that I feel that Gaza is being attacked like bullied, you know? Well, it's because I've experienced it myself. So how can I then fulfill on my full leadership value? I wouldn't be able to unless I was actually able to speak out about it. And I'm giving you that example of the threads that come together with your own wounds, whatever they are, how you can see they operate in a childhood way, maybe as an adult way. Maybe you've really had to face something like life and death. And then the perspective it gives you on the planet right now, I can pick up, I can see it in body language. Like I'm the one who knows who a bully is, truly. And then what? So the next bit is the Aries bit, right? Which is coming in. This, as Georgia said to me, I don't think you've said it here, rather than love and light, it's love and fight,
That's it. That's I
right?
missed what I was getting to. Yeah, it's moving from love and light to love and fight. That's Chiron in Aries. That's the gift right now, for sure. And a lot of people aren't willing to do that right now. They're not. They're stepping down and stepping back. They're not stepping forward in any way, shape, or form. That's what we're being initiated into. And everyone's action, everyone's fight looks different, right? It looks different, but it's still action oriented. The medicine of Chiron in Aries says the medicine is in your action. Like we need the action. The South Node is in Libra right now. And the South Node is where we are. There's the karmic reckoning, there's the releasing, there's the shadow work. And it's the shadow with Libra is fence sitting, is oh peace, like peace. But it's like, well, you can sit there and talk about peace and have but these are just like senseless platitudes unless what exactly, how are you enacting that in the real world? Like, what is the action here? Because really one could argue, even if we're not getting entirely political here, although it's interesting because one might say we have all been disempowered actually to think that there is such thing as political conversation and non-political conversation, or everything is actually political, and we all have that power, I believe, in some way, shape, or form. But what was I just saying? I was talking about, what was I just saying? I forgot. Oh my goodness. What were we just talking about just before that? Oh yeah, Libra, and getting off. Ah, that's it. Is that if you look at the charts of Israel and of the US, even, they have really prominent Libra energy. So it's about justice and it's about fairness. But there's a lot of wounding when it comes to actually enacting this. It's a lot of saying it, and but where is the action? And if you stand for nothing, you will fall for anything. That's Aries right now, the North Node in Aries. We've got to stand up. We can't just sit here on the fence and say, oh, well, it's out of my hands. There's nothing I can do. Gosh, where's the leaders? Where are they? Like, why won't anyone in the world do anything? It's like, no one's coming. We're the ones that come. We've got to stop doing this. We can't be damsels in distress anymore, looking to the leaders like they're not, like, we need to activate our hearts and step forward. And even if these are small incremental actions, do not be fooled. They matter. They truly matter. If they're coming from your heart, my God, those ripples are immeasurable, right?
Yeah, totally. And that is a little segue into the people that we've chosen today, and you will get information about it, are a family who are stuck in Gaza. And this is a very dark analogy, but I'm going to use it because I'm such a Scorpio rising person. I've said to a few people recently, one of the advents of technology, of being in the Aquarian era, is that we're able to actually connect, see on social media, see things that are happening. That if you were, for instance, in the Holocaust times, the reason that so much of that went on was because nobody could see in, right? It was this whole thing about what was going on behind closed doors in the death camps, etc. Imagine if we were in that time, but people had mobile phones and some had snuck them in, and it would be, a different era. Well, now that's exactly what's going on. You don't get to hide anymore. Part of the Aquarian age is that it's got high speed access like this all over the planet. It's got instant communication. So when we chose to take this on, when Samar first connected with me, she's been in touch with Georgia for months, but when she first connected with me, I had to sit back. I feel emotional because I was like, you are sitting in a tent. You've had your whole apartment blown up. You are not Hamas. You are not a terrorist. Your family is not. You've got an 18-month-old child. You had to walk breastfeeding to this place where they say it's like saying somewhere in the city of, like, say, London, they just say, go down to Oxford Circus, walk, like, go miles, walk. She was breastfeeding. And when, of course, they arrive, there's nothing, right? Nobody's looking after them. Nobody's looking after you. Nobody's looking after us except us. And she has to come up with the whole thing. Like, they've got no money. They've got no apartment, no belongings, nothing. Have to then scrounge, get a tent together, which is an exorbitant cost. But you can imagine a building being blown up. But now imagine what it must feel like to be in a tent, like right on the edge of genocidal warfare coming in, and you're sitting in a tent. So I had this moment where it was like undeniable. You can't even begin to imagine what that frequency is of seeing, of knowing. And then here am I, and I have no problem with being a Western woman doing whatever I'm doing. But it was like, I can't sit by this anymore. And I have to ask some friends to get involved. And it's a bit like, oh, a bit impolite in coaching society to say to other coaches, hey, can you actually come forward, and do you mind listening to this? And do you think you could help? But that's my leadership. It's like, I couldn't be the leader that I am teaching leaders, because that's what I do, without also the stretch, the discomfort, the uncomfortability of going, oh my God, like we're sitting on the edge of a freaking genocide. And here I am in my kitchen in Crouch End. But what is that tiny bit that I can do? So the ask is share. The ask is relate. Why her? Because she connected. It's that simple. And in a way, it's like that's the power piece as well. We don't need all the reasons in the world, like why this charity, why that, why are we doing this? It's like if it touches your heart and it cracks you open a little bit, like it did me when she first connected, I could not do something. It's like that because I'm a leader. So the work that we're going to do today, a little bit about inviting you to step up, help, be present, engage with the tragedy that's happening here. That's wounded healer stuff, Chiron. And in your own world, it's like rather than the suppression or the love and light, hey, I was bullied. Hey, love and light. It's no, actually, I'm going to use these drip feeding connections. Like, why did I have bullying? Why does it position me here now? Why can I then use any form of influence that I can to alter these situations? And I do it with a lot of different things. And you will feel those areas that are being moved in you, and you should be moved.
Mhm.
This is not light talk. And
Oh.
Aries is not a light warrior. It's warrior time.
Mm-hmm.
Step
And
up.
yes, and Chiron in Aries is grief and rage all piled into one. As Sarah Dawn Wilson recently called it, it's grage, grief and rage. And that is a predominant feeling right now. And guess what? The minute that that unleashes in any kind of public way, it's pathologized, right? It's like get back into your Libra corner, especially with women, right? It's like we need you to look good, be happy, don't, smile, don't cause a ruckus. That's how we've been so conditioned, especially as women, but all of us truly in this society for thousands of years. And so, but this Aries steps forward and it's not always comfortable. And, I've been having dreams recently of me just kind of shouting into a room and so many people are kind of looking at me weirdly and I'm like, I'm like just trying to scream that something's wrong in the world. And, um, the first thing that we must do is not pathologize ourselves. This does not make us crazy. This actually makes us awake and our humanity is intact, right? And like that's the rawness, I think, of Aries. They're allowing us to be free, to be expressive, to, and not judge that. And but I think as well, so we were talking about Samar, and shall I share a little bit more about Samar and then we can also play that video, that short video? Shall we do that? What do you
Yeah,
think?
definitely. Have you got that?
Yes, I pulled it
Right.
up. I'm just gonna
So
make
I'll leave you to screen share. And then what I will say is we're going over time. I already know that because just looking at the time. So I'm letting you be aware of that because everybody who's signed up, you'll still get the recording. So I'll be doing my meditation activation in a minute, but I'm just letting you know we will be going over time. And if you can't stay, you'll get the recording and you can do it in your own way. Okay?
yeah. Okay,
Yeah.
perfect. Okay, so I won't be long so that we can get into that in just a moment. I'm just making sure I've got this ready. Yeah, so I'm just gonna just for context, before I play Samar's short video, it's a 2-minute video she created for us. Um, I'm just gonna say that yeah, my heart's going now because the minute I start to talk about Samar, I do get really emotional because okay, so I've been, for context, I've been helping several families over the last few months. I connected with some families before Samar and some afterwards. And I'm working really closely with them because the thing is that the situation in Palestine right now in Gaza is that they're truly powerless. So they need to donate money, to have money donated to them, which is what they're relying on, right? To even survive the day to day, that's very expensive, but also to have any chance at evacuation, which is unimaginably expensive. Um, they need money, they need donations, and that can come through GoFundMe's or through PayPal, things like that, right? None of those things are they're all prohibited in Palestine. If you are Palestinian with a Palestinian phone number, and a Palestinian bank account, you can't use any of these services. So it's really interesting in the Aquarian sense, Inarra, as well, that Palestinian people have been forced to have to connect with people from the outside world and people over here in, in the West. And, this is the first thing that we can help and facilitate for these people, is to make GoFundMes and send their money to them in some way, shape, or form. And my gosh, do you have to go through hoops to make it happen? But we figure it out, right? Setting up PayPals. And I've been doing all these things. And it's been, oh my goodness, as a way to channel my rage, my grief and rage from the last few months. This is the medicine of Chiron, right? In action. What can we do? But of course, to be connected with the human beings has been utterly unraveling and really dark at times, because you're so close, right? So close to the unimaginable heartbreak. But Samar, I love this woman. I love her. She says I've become such good friends with her. I know that we were meant to meet. I've obviously looked at her astrology chart, obviously, because I'm an astrologer, and we have all this synastry connection. And the thing that first connected us is that she has a little boy called Hamoud, who honestly, outside of my own little boy, is the most beautiful little boy I've ever seen in my life. And he looks so much like my little boy. And this is the thing, we both have little boys that are both 18 months old. So immediately, even though she's worlds away from me, she's Muslim, I'm not, I don't have a religion, there's so many differences between us, but there are way more similarities than there are differences. She is such an incredible woman, and I care about her so much. And like, we hold this vision and this dream. I hold this vision every day of her walking into my house with her little boy and our children playing together. And when they're living in a concentration camp every day, I mean, you don't even know if they're going to message you back, So, but we have the possibility to make this happen, but it requires a village. It requires a lot of us. This is why I was so grateful for Inarra's cooperation. It just blows things wide open. It makes so much more possible. This is the age of Aquarius we're in. We need each other. We need community. We cannot achieve any of this alone. So my heart just pours out to anyone that can donate, can help Samar in any small or large way, and sharing the link, emailing friends, whatever it is, it helps. So yeah, just thank you so much. And I'm just going to spend this last couple of minutes just sharing the actual video with you that Samar made, that you may have already watched, but I'm just going to share it again. It's just 2 minutes long. Here she is.
Hello, Inarra Georgia, and all you.
Can you guys hear that? Actually, I think I might need to. Can you hear it?
Yeah.
Clearly?
Yeah.
Oh, perfect. Fab. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Hello, Inarra Georgia, and all your colleagues and friends. My name is Samah Ghilan. I'm 26 years old. I was an Arabic language teacher from Khan Yunis in Gaza Strip. My husband and I and my baby Hamoud are all displaced and living in a tent now in Rafah after the Israeli occupation was destroyed and burned our home. On a cold winter day in December, we heard the news that we must evacuate our home and fled on foot, breastfeeding my baby Hamoud all the way, without anywhere to go. Danger and death surrounded us all day and all night. We have lost everything and are relying on just donations to survive. And the most important thing to escaping the genocide and evacuation to safety in Egypt. Evacuation via the Hala company will cost minimum of $17,000 for our family. This is without any basic living expenses when we arrive in Egypt, where we will start from nothing. From the bottom of my heart, I'm so grateful for anything that you can donate to my family to help us have a chance to survival. My biggest heartbreak is to witness my baby sick Hamoud every few days from the polluted water and food, and not knowing if he will even have a future. We have no idea what will happen. The bombing is continuous and the ground invasion is about to begin. Please help us escape from here by donating to our GoFundMe campaign. Any donations, small or big, is deeply appreciated. for listening and considering helping to save our family. Hamoud, say bye. Hamoud, say bye. Bye, Mama. Bye, Georgia. Bye, Inara.
Thank you so much for watching that. Oh, Inara, I would just want to share one tiny other little thing about them just for one sec. It's there was an image there that you may have seen right in the middle of Hesham, Samar's husband, holding a rose in the middle of the burnt apartment. Samar and Hesham actually lived a great love story with one another for years and years. And Hesham gave a red rose to Samar several times over those years, and Samar kept them all and pressed them, and she had them in a frame up on their wall in their apartment. And that frame is just completely burnt to ash. And, you know, can you imagine? I mean, it's just so impossible to imagine everything that got destroyed. But that photo is of Hisham. He went back to the apartment because Hisham and Samar were separated for months. For months, they were separated because there were some blocks, the occupation, they couldn't get to each other. And he went to the house to take some photos and find what was left. But he took a red rose and he took photos of it saying, "Don't be sad, my love, don't be sad," you know. So yeah, I mean, they're just such beautiful people. So if we can just help them in any way that we can, thank you so much.
Do you want to stop screen sharing?
Oh gosh, sorry, I'm still sharing my screen still. There we go.
That's
Now
okay.
I'm ready to receive.
I'm going to now take you on a journey, and you don't need to know anything. I work with taking people into deep trance. I prefer it if you can shut your eyes. It works better. You can take your glasses off, relax, take some deep breaths, and start to allow your body to soften deeply into the chair. Uncross your legs. And taking some deep breaths, allow yourself to breathe through every part of your body. And then when you breathe out through your mouth and make a sound. And again, take another deep breath, moving the breath through the whole of your body. And when you breathe out and make a sound, breathe out of your mouth. And one more of those. Allow yourself to take a really deep breath in, opening your heart, allowing even the back of the heart to start to open, this area that we don't really focus in on. Back of the heart, and exhale. So imagining that you are now breathing through the back of your heart. Imagine this area that we don't really pay attention to. This huge, vast corridor of surrender and of access behind the body, the bit that you don't look for. Imagine yourself with lungs that are breathing directly through the back of the heart. And the more that you fill up your heart with this energy, this life force, the bigger the heart gets. So you're experiencing the movement of all the breath through the heart, clearing and cleansing old stories. And imagine that at the back of the heart, there is a mirror. And as if there is paint splatter all over the mirror, I want you to imagine that the paint splatter is all the times you have had heartbreak. Even the moments where you might have watched animal videos, animal reels, and you've seen some heartbreaking scenes, even those little moments that move you. Even to the times when you have perhaps experienced rejection and abandonment, sadness, disappointment, rage, disillusionment, jealousy, irritation. And all of that is over the mirror, like a paint splatter in different colors, all representing your whole life. They say that the feminine wound is disappointment, and that the masculine is rage. So imagine that you have had rage and disappointment from birth. Planet Earth is not an easy place to live. But also imagine that you have a tool like one of those paint scrapers. And I want you to imagine that you are just moving back and forth while breathing into the back of your heart with this tool, that you're scraping off the sludge and the many layers and the many years of all the emotions that you were not able to perhaps articulate, and all the build-up that you've been carrying around in the back of your heart, this area which you don't tend to look at, has been accumulating this sludge and this build-up. And so using force, using persistence, you use this tool and you start scraping it off your mirror. And gradually you start to see little places where the paint splatter moves. And some of them you really get into, like it's the ones that won't move. You really get into that corner and stick that tool in, and you're like, you are coming off. And you really give it some energy, because there's not one bit that you're going to leave on there. The determination and persistence of the human spirit is simply amazing. And when you feel the energy of that, like a spring breeze coming in, you're like, I am spring cleaning my heart. I'm going to move all of this old toxic residue and scrape it off. And taking another deep breath in, breathe through the back of your heart and breathe it out and make a noise. And another one of those, breathing in, seeing the clearing of your mirror and feeling the relief of as you're letting some of that debris go. And one more of those as you finally scrape off the final bits. One more breath in and exhale. And as you experience the mirror behind you, a little bit like Alice in Wonderland, the minute that you look into the mirror, you see an entire other landscape. This landscape at the back of the heart has got corridors going off into infinity. They are no longer the areas that you look at. These are the areas of connection and opportunity that were always there. But because you're always looking forward, you never actually see them. But in their own way, these corridors and channels and pathways have been making connections in all other directions while you have been focused forward. So become present that as you now look at the mirror, you're now able to see a very different experience of how big your heart is. These corridors and channels rich and coated in beautiful colors, with great art on the walls. And some may even have little windows letting in the sunlight, so you're seeing those rays of sunlight going off into the corridors. There's one corridor that you feel more pulled to than any other. So have a look and a feel. And of all the corridors moving out the back of your heart, you choose one. This is my path. And the surety that you have in your body, you feel it. It's this incredible instinct and hunch. This is my path, and I'm going to go down this one. And as you do walk through this corridor, you feel the freedom of new expressions starting to enter your body. You feel this incredible wave of curiosity, of daring, of newness, and you feel what it's like truly to be like a spiritual warrior. You don't know where you're going, and that's okay. But you feel now for the first time that you're no longer carrying all these years and many lifetimes of sludge, of toxicity. You feel there's a clear breeze behind you, and that you have the freedom to go wherever you want to. So carrying along this pathway, allow yourself to feel what was one of your deepest wounds. Allow yourself to just talk to yourself and acknowledge a repetitive pattern perhaps that has happened for you in your life. And you may have done many, many hours of healing on this, but it is a scar. It will be something in your life that needs to be looked at right now, and use your instinct and allow yourself to know which one that is. As you come to the end of a corridor, you see in the distance a beautiful white temple. And the temple door is open, and you feel compelled to walk through the door. As you do so, at the center of this beautiful room, which is very much like a temple, you experience there is an altar there. And on the altar, there is a symbol of the wound that you have experienced in your life. So walking straight up to the altar, there is nothing else on this altar but a symbol of the wound. And you may wish to pick this up. You may feel the weight of the wound. You may feel the temperature. You may feel it's made of something. It might be hard or soft. But you are now willing to hold on to this wound. It feels familiar. You are aware that this has been with you for a very long time. And you take it and place it against your heart. And as you connect with it, the feeling of the wound, the emotion of the wound, allow yourself to experience what was the emotion, the overlying emotion of this wound. And then allow yourself to experience a little bit of the story of this wound. yourself now to breathe through the wound and the heart at the same time. As you press it into the heart, the symbol becomes absorbed by your heart, and you feel it entering the heart space now, entering these wonderful corridors of possibility, and asking for information. You ask the wound to tell you what is its gift. And allow the information to come through to you. What is the gift of this particular wound that this particular human got to experience? And just for a moment, you also have the understanding of what it would be like to have not had that wound. What if life had taken you on a different pathway, through a different corridor in time, where you had not had this wound? And just for a moment, you have the understanding of what that wound has actually done for you. Great stories are made not like girl wants to meet boy and does so, the end. Great stories are girl wants to meet boy, boy moves country, girl follows boy, boy is going out with someone else, girl is heartbroken, boy then breaks up with other woman but isn't ready. These are the stories that when they finally come together, finally, that's a great story. And you, as the heroine or the hero of your story, know that this wound is like that. It's the making of you. It's the making of your great story. Without this wound, you would have just been A plus B equals C. You have been on a very different ride. Allow yourself to acknowledge what this has actually brought into your life. Painful though it is. And then as you reach back, placing your hand over your heart, you feel the symbol of the wound starting to emerge. Just like it dissolved into your heart, now you're experiencing coming out of the heart, leaving its medicine with you. And what you experience is coming out of your heart is a crown. It's a crown that I want you to pull from your heart. Allow yourself to pull the crown through, the crown of your leadership, and feel the weight of your crown. Notice what it looks like. Is it made of metal or gold, or is it made of nature and reeds and roses? Feel what it truly is made of and feel its energy. And then taking a great breath, as you exhale, you place it on your head. And you feel it altering the whole energy current of your body as you stand there crowned. You feel the wisdom pouring through you, the knowledge, and the compassion. And you also feel the daringness, the courage, and your spiritual warrior standing up and saying, I've got something to say. I've got something to do. So bringing that in, feeling the energy of this, the power of this, allow yourself to bring your hands together, palms together, and start to rub your palms together until you feel they're getting hot. And then placing them over your closed eyes, breathing in and exhale. Then you can move your scalp, feeling the place that you have placed a crown on, rubbing the jaw, throat, back of the neck, heart, solar plexus, belly, and then brushing the energy down your legs. And so as you're taking your time to come into the room, I was just aware that Samar is with us. So I'm going to unmute.
She might be able to join. We don't know. She might.
Oh,
I'll see if she wrote to me. One moment.
okay.
Okay. Let's. Ask to unmute. To say hello.
Yeah. Yeah.
She's in a very busy, crowded place right now, she said, because also it's been the breaking of the fast and crowded. I don't, she's not responding to me.
Okay. She came just in.
Yeah, she's obviously been with us and listening. She came in the middle of your session, Inarra. It was beautiful.
Right when we were in the back of the heart, she came in and she sent a hello. So you can see that to everybody, but you heard her coming in. So we've had that connection, just like that delicious little moment.
Yeah, she's been with us.
And you can feel in your own hearts, this is, when you're in leadership, when it's not based on anyone else. You came into the world alone, and you will, all of us, go alone on that journey. But the ingredients that you have, what they're there for, you know how it's altered you, and you know why it's making you a great leader. And the experience now is to take it on. This is the beginning of that new. Well, there's also with the new cycle, something has got to go. And you will all know what's playing small or what's, Joe Haneke was mentioning, was it not being seen at some point, I think. Well, if you get into any situations where you feel that, gotta go. It's the old story, and we can change like that. We can transmute this stuff like that. And today, with this eclipse, use that energy to really step into your new era and to step in as a crowned queen or king of whatever it is that you're taking on. We need all healers and leaders right now. Thank you, Laura.
Yes.
You recognize the gift. And Johannika has discovered another wound. Yeah, it's very emotional. It should be. This is the thing. Don't stifle. And Samara did dial in. Yeah, you heard her. That was the noise.
Yeah.
So she has actually connected with us from Rafa, which, I can't imagine a worse place to be on the planet, basically. So I send her protection continuously in my energetic way, like a healer. We can all do that for her. Just send peace, peace, peace. This is time for peace.
May we get her out. A liberation. That's
Hello?
liberation.
Hey!
Oh, hi. Samar,
Hello?
can you hear us?
Hello.
Yeah.
Oh,
Hello, Inarra Georgia.
hi.
Hello.
Someone say hi.
Hamoud?
Someone? Someone say hi.
When you want them to speak, they don't speak. Oh,
I'm so happy to be here.
oh,
So
thank you
happy
for
to have
joining
you.
us. Yeah, thank you. Everyone's here, like they can hear you. There's the whole group still here, like most of us, I'm sure. So it's so wonderful to have you in the space, Samar.
Yeah.
Can you hear us?
Thanks a lot for everything. Thanks a lot for everything.
Pleasure, pleasure, pleasure to help any way we can.
You're so welcome, Samar. We still, and for everyone listening too, there's one thing I didn't share is that we have about, I think our goal now is $10,000 more until we reach the point where we can evacuate Samar, Hasham, and baby Hamoud. So that's our next target, that's our next goal. And again, even if you know people, you have friends, family, or just reach out to your communities in any way. I know that I've been doing the same, just trying to think of someone, but yeah, and we're just holding that vision in our hearts now. If they're safe crossing over to Egypt, it's in my mind and my heart, it's already so. We've just got to get there, but it's already so.
Yeah.
Samar, we love you. I love you so much, my dear sister. And I know that
I
we're
love
all
you
going to
too,
be
Georgia,
together.
Inarra, and all your colleagues. I love you too.
Oh,
And
thank you.
thanks a lot for your support.
Yeah. Well, how do you feel right now, Samar? How do you actually feel right now?
I'm now in my relative's house, so I can connect it to the internet
Yeah.
because in the tent there is no internet, as you know.
Yeah.
Mama.
Have you been feeling exhausted with this? Like you don't feel like there's any hope? I just want to know, how does it feel to be where you are
The
right now?
the most hope is to evacuate me from here, to save me and my family from the war.
Yeah.
Yeah, and thanks for all who can donate to me and support me by sharing my link. Thanks a
Yeah.
lot.
Yeah. I think the thing is that sometimes we feel like money it's not like, I don't know, it's not like compassionate or something. It's just like this mechanical thing that we can do. But actually, in this case, it's the most sacred help we can give. It comes like a blessing to people who have absolutely nothing and no way of altering this except to communicate and collaborate with us. And so, Samar, I want you to hang in there. We're going to make this happen. The power.
Amin, thanks.
Yeah.
Thanks, Inara.
Yeah.
I hope that so.
Yeah, me too. And sending you so much love.
And healing, because Samar has been really sick with the flu the last few days.
I
And
see.
I think you're getting better now, though, right, Samar? You're feeling a bit better.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm still sick, unfortunately.
You're what, sorry?
I'm still sick, unfortunately.
Oh, you are. Oh, Samar. But you've had luckily some help with Hamoud so she can rest a little bit. But I really hope you feel better
Yeah.
soon. And yeah, we're going to be sending this recording out so people will see that. And yeah, Tiffany says, please know you are not alone. Your family is loved and your lives matter to the world.
Yeah.
Exactly that. Did you hear that, Samar? Please know you are not alone. Your family is loved and your lives matter to the world. That's the first greatest medicine that I think we can give, certainly Samar in this situation, but all of us, is to remind each other that we're not alone. And especially in Samar's situation, the every level violence of what they are enduring it makes them feel that they
Hello?
are, and they're not alone. Oh, hi, you're on the video.
Is she?
Yeah.
Hello.
I don't know if we can you pin her?
I'm
Oh, I
gonna,
guess
yeah,
the
I'm gonna,
connection's not so good.
it's okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
Hi,
hello.
hi, Hamoud.
Oh,
Can you
it's,
hear?
yeah, we can see you.
Huh?
Amazing to see you. Yeah.
Mama?
Yeah.
Baby.
Say hi.
Baby Hamoud. Yeah.
Hamoud?
It's so
Georgia.
amazing to see you.
Tamara and I laugh
Where's
all the
Leo?
time. I know Leo's downstairs. Leo's downstairs. Maybe I could maybe grab him. We always joke that truly our children, Hamoud is just delicious. Like we want to eat him. He would be the most
Like me with
Somali.
you.
What, sorry?
Like me with Leo.
Yeah, Tamar loves Leo as well. It just feels like we just love each other's children so much. That's the thing. That's the other thing, is that all the children are all of our children. Like
Yeah.
all of our children, you know, they really are. When I
Mama?
look at Mood, I see my own son completely and utterly. You beautiful boy.
Yeah. Well,
Oh,
I think this is cracking all our hearts open, hopefully. And this is also how we will rise in our ability to heal, our ability to lead. We cannot wait for others to do it anymore. Look at the appalling leadership on the planet. It's appalling. So, especially women have got to just step up now. You know,
oh,
have to.
Hamoud?
absolutely. Absolutely.
So no excuses, ladies. Put that crown on and give it a little jiggle.
Hamoud
And
beat me.
today, like
Oh.
make a pact to yourself from this point on. You're in a 19-year cycle now. Make that, I mean, I'm going to be really bloody
Yeah.
old at that time, but it's like this
Hamoud?
trajectory of 19 years is like, I'm going to make a difference now, you know, and it's like that energy, and we can do it together. So I just want to send so much love to you, Samar, and we'll keep in touch, and we can post
And love
things
to you all.
to this community
And
to
love
show
you
how
all.
you do. Yeah.
Yeah.
And for the rest of us, it's probably time
Thanks a lot for this opportunity.
Oh,
pleasure.
you're
Thanks a
welcome.
lot for this opportunity.
Yeah.
Oh.
Really means a lot to us too, you know? Yeah.
Yeah, this is a gift to us, my love. This is a gift to us too, to be able to do this for you in any way we can. Hamoud. Yes, and so and we will, yeah, we'll share updates on the fundraiser too in our newsletters and everything, whatever we can do to just keep everyone up to date.
And just sending you loads of love.
Yeah.
And in future, we may do something else as well.
Yeah.
Another astrological, another healing moment. You're now on my list because I invited you in to get
Mama
sit in there. But I will send you other things that you can be part of as well. And it's just a pleasure, and thank you for everybody who came. It's so meaningful for us to have you here. So
Yeah.
pleasure. Go watch the eclipse if you can with the glasses, if you're in the States. If not, look at the beautiful pictures that you'll see posted everywhere, because I don't know when there's another one. I mean, of this magnitude in our lifetime. I know there was one that was, somebody was saying they hadn't seen it since 1963. They were going another person in the States. They saw the last one in 63. So, you know, they're rare. I don't know when the next one is.
The last time there was a visible solar eclipse in the US, which is where it's visible, it was in 2017, not too long ago. And that one was really significant. And the particular pathway across the US, this pathway is making an X with it.
Okay.
And this eclipse is aligning a lot with the US's own chart. So I think that'll be, and of course, the US, not only, even if you're not a US citizen or live in the US,
Georgia?
the US
Yeah,
has global
Georgia?
significance. Yes, love?
Can you hear me? I would want to sleep.
Okay.
Okay, my love. Oh, good night, baby. Mwah.
Good night.
Thank you so much for coming, and we'll be
Unfortunately, I want to leave.
See you
bye.
later.
Oh, bless.
Okay,
Thank
that
you
was,
to
yeah.
all.
See you.
I want just
Oh, I think we're losing her as well.
Yeah. Go. We'll be in touch.
everyone who can donate or share.
Yes,
You
we'll
have
ask.
my
Don't
heart.
worry. We'll ask.
Bye.
Yeah.
Say bye,
Bye.
Mom.
Bye, darling. Bye. Bye, baby.
Bye.
Oh.
Okay. So it's down to us. We are the ones.
Yes.
And thank you. And I think it's a good time to end it there. But I hope if you feel that emotion about Samar, feel that emotion about yourself as well. When I was saying to somebody who really puts themselves down, a friend of mine, I was saying, if you imagine yourself as a kitten, because she loves cats, and you would treat that cat like that, it would be called abuse. So treat yourself like something that you love. It might be a baby, it might be your grandchild, it might be a little animal, it might be whatever, but see yourself like that as you're going through looking at the wounds of Chiron. You're not an ugly, you know, whatever. You're like everybody else who's gone through a really tough time. But boy, is that going to build your leadership. So this is
Absolutely.
just the beginning. Yeah. And sending you
This
so
is the
much love.
beginning. This is a new day today. That is absolutely the case.
Okay.
So much
So,
love to you all. Thank you
bye.
so much. Bye. Bye, everyone.